Sam Ehlinger and Texas football face the Oklahoma State Cowboys in the Big 12 season opener at DKR. Volleyball plays at-home rivalry game against Texas A&M. All this and more coming to you on College Press Box. Good evening and welcome to College Press Box. Thank you for joining us on your Monday evening. I'm your host, Stephanie Witt, joined alongside Emme Basnett. We have a packed show for you tonight. Let's start out with Texas football's Big 12 opener.
The Longhorns kicked off the beginning of conference play this past Saturday against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. With OSU's 5-game winning streak dating back to 2010 at DKR, the Longhorns were fired up to potentially break the streak and secure the win at home. Let's go down to DKR for the highlights. The game started off with Sam Ehlinger in the pocket. He passes and finds Devin Duvernay in the corner. Touchdown, Texas. It's Spencer Sanders with a long pass to Johnson. 55 yards, 6-14 Texas. And then it's a pass to Brennan Eagles, and he has nothing but time and soars into the end zone, making the score 21-13. Then it's Sam, and it's a trick play to Cade Brewer. Touchdown, Texas, 25 yards, 28-23 Texas. And then it's Keontae Ingram with a crucial run, big run for 26 yards. Score is 36-23 Texas. And then it's the one and only Chuba Hubbard for OSU, touchdown. What a run, what a play. Then it's the victory huddle, and the game ends with Texas securing the victory, and the score is 36-30.
Daniel Shih was on the sidelines to give us more from DKR.
The Texas program took a step forward last weekend, but by playing bad, according to Tom Herman. The Longhorns squeezed out a win after having 2 punt fumbles against Oklahoma State. Both of them led to a touchdown for the Cowboys.
Tonight we took a step, in my opinion, because we played less than our best and still beat a really, really good football team. Obviously, the punt return game was embarrassing. We've got to do a better job of coaching those situations.
We never gave up. We never said, oh, we made a mistake here, game over, like, what are we doing? Showed the fight in us. Obviously, we have to clean up a lot of mistakes that we made. To make those mistakes and still come out victorious is good.
Injuries was a major theme for the Longhorns on Saturday night. Colin Johnson was ruled out right before the game, but Zach Shackelford and Joseph Osai was cleared to play, providing some silver lining. But that didn't last long, as linebacker Marcus Tillman was injured on the first play of the game, and OK State's physical play had 4 more Longhorns seeking medical attention.
Next guy up. Herman always preaches, Orlando always, the whole staff always preaches competitive focus. That means if you're not getting the reps, you're getting the mental. So next guy up, somebody goes down to the next guy. There's no drop off. The next guy knows exactly what he's doing, and we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, we need those guys to grow up in a hurry and get in the experience they got today. I think we'll expedite that process.
The Longhorns will have a much-needed bye week next weekend before going to Morristown to face West Virginia on October 5th. From the Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium, this is Daniel Shih, TSTV Sports.
Joining us tonight is football analyst Ted Kim.
It's great to see you, Emmy. Been a fan of the show since 1993.
It's great to have you here, Ted. So, Ted, to play a team with a star such as Chuba Hubbard and run by the excellent coaching of Mike Gundy, how significant is this win for Texas against OSU, and especially going into conference play 1-0?
Emmy, just once again, thank you for having me. All I have to say is that it's finally a party like it's 2008. It has been 11 years, and boy, does it feel great for the Longhorns to get a home victory over the Cowboys. Although Hubbard is the nation's leading rusher, playing alongside with Tylan Wallace, one of the best college wide receivers, they still managed to get the win. This win signifies their future looking bright, since they just went up against a true tough conference competitor. This shows that the Longhorns can perform in prime time.
Yeah, it sure does. So the future for Texas football does look exciting. There were a lot of pivotal plays during the game, but what do you think was a standout play or one that really secured the win for Texas?
Oh, easy walk in the park. Sam's run on the 3rd down to seal the game, no doubt about it. Ehlinger was thrown over 1,200 yards and is responsible for 15 touchdowns. And that play captured the essence of beautiful football. Ellinger's tactics and strategies showcase how great of a leader and team player he is. People have been saying he has been smooth like molasses.
That he is. I agree, Ted. There's a lot of conference play still left for the Longhorns, though. So, moving forward, what do you think the team could work on, or areas that are weak that you think they should improve playing teams like West Virginia or OU soon after the bye week?
Well, one word, defense. And we need a lot of it before we face Austin Kendall in the next 2 weeks against West Virginia. Not only that, but the Red River rivalry is soon to come, and Jalen Hurts is one heck of a monster.
Yeah.
Spencer Sanders rushed over 100 yards this past weekend against the Horns, and Texas needs to shore up their defense unless Jalen Hurts is going to run all over them as well.
Right. We sure do need to work on our defense. But thank you, Ted. When we come
No problem.
back, we'll catch up with Matt Marinchak to take a better look at that Texas versus A&M volleyball game. You won't want to miss it. Welcome back to College Press Box. On Friday, the Aggies came to Austin to face off against the Longhorns and fuel the ever-steady rivalry. For more on the game and this important sweep for the number 6 Longhorns is Matt Marinchak.
Last Friday, the number 3 ranked Texas Longhorns took on the Texas A&M Aggies in the Lone Star Showdown. The Longhorns struggled early on in this game, but Micaiah White was able to lead the Longhorns back with her impressive performance.
I think the main thing we just said is just keep pushing them and keep putting pressure on them and keeping them out of system, because once they were out of system, they struggled, and so just putting a lot of pressure on them offensively and defensively.
This game wrapped up non-conference games for the Longhorns, as now they will face Big 12 teams for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think we got tested really, really well. Come out of it 6-2 is good. Obviously we're like 7-1 right now, or 8-0. But we're still in a good position, I think. Now it's good. You just got to take one match at a time. We got to get better. We got to get healthy. And we got to just keep improving. We want to put ourselves in a position to be in the discussion, and we'll keep working. But it doesn't mean anything unless we take care of our problems.
After missing some time with injury, Ashley Shook finally made her home debut and made a major impact that helped lead the Horns to victory.
Yeah, it's been so nice because we've all been putting in such hard work that no one else gets to see it. So I think I'm still I've been ready to contribute again. So it felt really nice to be able to do that.
Ashley Shook received high praise from Coach Elliott for her performance in this game.
Ashley's kind of been since her injury, it's kind of been a slow process back. Yesterday we had her set. I thought she set really well. She deserved to get some quality minutes right now.
From Gregory Gym, I'm Matt Marinchak, TSTV Sports.
Joining us tonight is volleyball analyst Jocelyn Maldonado. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
So, even though Texas A&M is unranked, given the long-standing rivalry between the two teams, was this win against A&M significant?
Yes, obviously the rivalry is there, Texas versus A&M. However, every game should be significant, even if you're going against low-ranked teams or unranked teams taking A&M, because once you go into that mindset that you're playing an easy team, that's when you lose. I mean, they lost to Rice, and that caused them a big downfall in the rankings, and they went 4 sets against Northern Iowa. So definitely they need to up their mentality and come into the field or the court knowing that every game is significant.
Nice. So, who is really a significant player that you see on the team this season?
Definitely the freshman trio. You have middle blocker Molly Phillips, redshirt freshman Asia O'Neal, who's also a middle blocker, and then outside hitter Skylar Fields. I mean, every game they are killing it at the net with their blocks and their kills. I mean, just this last game against A&M, Molly Phillips had 5 kills, 6 blocks. O'Neal had 7 kills and 3 blocks, and Skylar Fields had 6 kills and 3 blocks. So they are stepping up to the plate, filling in these shoes, and playing great games every game.
And with Texas being ranked number 6, do you think the team will go all the way, or where do you see them finishing off the season?
All the way, they have potential. However, they beat BYU, they beat Stanford in 5, but they need to perfect their playing ability. Like I said before, their mentality has to be formulated to come out strong. I mean, they were ranked number 3, and when you're ranked that high, you have to come out playing like you know how to play, because Texas has this history that they're amazing, and they're about to go into conference play, and these teams are not going to be coming at them easy, even if they're low ranked. They're going to be wanting that payback, considering they were Big 12 champions last year, and they're going to be coming at them hard. So Texas has to come out harder. And we will see also how they end up, because they are going against Baylor in the conference twice, like they played them twice. So Baylor is now number 2. They're playing amazing right now. So let's see how they end up with Baylor, and then we can see how they'll end up after.
Definitely, definitely. Well, thank you, Jocelyn. When we come back, Henry will give us a scoop on what's going on in the NBA. Good evening and welcome back to College Press Box. Here's Henry with some NBA coverage.
Just like the eyes of Texas, the NBA season is upon you. The first night of 2019-2020 NBA regular season basketball will be October 22nd, and this season is as hyped as an NBA season has been in recent memory, with a great feeling of uncertainty for the first time in a few years. Since all the excitement is still in the Western Conference, let's get a recap of some Western Conference teams' moves this offseason, as well as play one of the oldest games in the history of sports called Over or Under, where I will give you what Vegas projects as the win totals for several teams and tell you whether each respective team will win over or under that many games. We will start with the team that fell short of its quest for a three-peat just a few months ago, the Golden State Warriors. After winning 3 of the last 4 NBA titles and the last 2 with Kevin Durant before a loss in June, Durant packed up his things and moved across the country to the greatest city in the world, New York. But not for the team that Stephen A. Smith claimed had a 95% chance of getting him just about a month before the season ended in the New York Knicks, but for the Brooklyn Nets. Even when Brooklyn mortgaged their entire future just 7 years ago in 2012 by trading a plethora of future first-round picks for an aging Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry, my hometown Knicks still found a way to be the worst team in New York. Okay, sorry, let me get back on track. In regards to the Warriors, they brought in 2019 All-Star D'Angelo Russell as mild compensation for the loss of Durant. They also re-signed Draymond Green and Klay Thompson to extensions. Now, while many people are counting out the Warriors because of the departure of Durant and locker room leader Andre Iguodala, as well as Thompson's ACL tear that will likely keep him sidelined for at least the first half of the season, I think people are underrating them. They still have almost the entire same nucleus that won a 2015 championship and won 73 games in 2016. According to Westgate, they are projected to win 48.5 games. I'm taking the over on this, and I will say here right now, I think they are a legitimate threat to end up back in the Western Conference Finals. Let's move south of the Bay, staying in California, and compare the two teams in LA. The Lakers finally got what they've wanted for a while in their acquisition of All-Star forward Anthony Davis from the New Orleans Pelicans. In exchange for him, the Lakers shipped Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart, as well as future picks to New Orleans. With little cap space left after this trade, the Lakers still did a great job filling out the rest of their roster. They added Danny Green, Quinn Cook, Avery Bradley, Dwight Howard. It did sign DeMarcus Cousins, who is now unfortunately out for the season with a torn ACL from playing pickup over the summer. Still in all, they still have the best player in the league, you heard that right, in LeBron James. And I think the fact that they are keeping Kyle Kuzma is huge. Westgate has set their win total at 50 games. Unfortunately, I have to go slightly under at around 48-49 wins. I think this may take a little while to mesh, similar to the Big Three in Miami in their first season, but they will eventually get it going and go on a strong run to end the season into the playoffs. Moving all the way into the same building, let's talk about the LA Clippers. After surprising everybody last season by pushing the Warriors to 6 games in the first round of the playoffs with no All-Stars on their roster, the Clippers have loaded up this offseason in a big way and are now potential title favorites. They signed the reigning Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard to a deal and also traded for star forward Paul George. They were also able to keep much of their key pieces to last year's roster intact by holding on to Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, and Landry Shamet. With the depth they have, combined with their 2 superstar wing players, they are certainly in a battle with the Lakers for not only the best team in LA, but perhaps the best team in the NBA. Westgate has Clippers projected to win 54.5 games. This is a solid prediction, but I'm going to take the under, only because the hype surrounding this team may cause them to start off slow, and they also need time to develop some chemistry. But come mid-season, I believe they will be clicking on all cylinders and a force to be reckoned with. So with the Clippers and Lakers both making huge upgrades this offseason, many fans believe the battle for the NBA title will go through the Staples Center one way or another. So which team runs LA? Well, I think the Lakers have a slightly better dynamic duo. LeBron James and Anthony Davis are just a tad better, in my opinion, than Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. However, I do believe the Clippers' overall team is slightly better with their depth. They are a much better defensive team who will still generate plenty of offense. Therefore, I think the Clippers are the current kings of LA, but I'm sure that the king will have something to say about that. Fans in Houston believe they have lifted off by acquiring Russell Westbrook from the Oklahoma City Thunder in exchange for Chris Paul and draft picks. The reunification of Westbrook and Harden gives the Rockets perhaps the most star-studded backcourt in the NBA. However, it takes more than talent to win championships, and I believe that this is a match made in a first-round exit. These two players need the ball in their hands to thrive. With Harden's habit of iso ball and Westbrook's inability to shoot, there are simply too many cooks and not enough ingredients nor chef intangibles in this backcourt to be successful. Westgate marks them at 54.5 games to win. I am taking the way under on that, and I cannot believe it is even that high. The last team I'm going to focus on is a team that, while not expected to be in the playoff picture, is still going to be heavily watched. Can you guess who I'm thinking of? It would be the New Orleans Pelicans. Yes, the Pelicans acquired Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart from the Lakers, added phenom Zion Williamson and former Longhorn Jackson Hayes via the draft, and signed J.J. Redick. This is sure to be one of the most interesting teams to watch this season, as it will tell all kinds of things. Can Lonzo Ball live up to his original hype in a new situation? Can Brandon Ingram elevate to a 20 points per game scorer? And of course, most of all, how good will Zion Williamson really be? Westgate puts the Pelicans at a projected 38.5 wins. I'm going to be optimistic and take the over on this team. While the team is young, many of them do have some experience, and Zion will be ready to go. The NBA is my favorite sports league, and I'm really looking forward to the season in a way I haven't been in a few years. For all of us avid basketball fans out there, let's take a moment to cherish that the fun NBA we grew to love is officially back.
Thanks, Henry. When we come back, we are going to hear from 3 coaches at the weekly presser. Stick around.
Welcome back to College Press Box. We're glad you're still with us. Every week, Tom Herman has a press conference with the media. Due to the Texas bye week, Texas Athletics had Jarrett Elliott, Shaka Smart, and David Pierce press conferences in its place. Elliott started, and here's what he had to say as the Big 12 conference play begins this week.
Yeah, we got everything we wanted except an 8-0 record. But it's I didn't schedule it thinking we would be 8-0, especially with this young team. So I think we put ourselves in a good position. We've learned a lot about ourselves. I think we've played obviously some of the best teams in the country, so we know that we're in that mix. And now it's, can we define our defense to become a little bit better? Can we get our serve and pass to be a little bit better? And can we get our transition game to be a little bit better? So we learned a lot of things numerically from the statistics of where we need to be and how we're going to function, but now we've got some time to be able to make that happen.
With basketball season just around the corner, Shaka Smart took the mic next to talk about the team standards.
We want to set a standard as a team for what we're about, regardless of the circumstance and even regardless of the opponent. I think that's one thing that clearly all the best teams have in common, because the level of play of the opponent may go up and down, but who we are has to stay the same, and that starts with our energy, what we call juice as a program. Our guys have done a really good job of that so far this spring and summer and early fall, but obviously going into the season, that's the most important time.
During the offseason, Texas acquired 2 great hires. Here's what David Pierce had to say about the new additions to the team.
Most people that coach, of course, we do it for love, we do it for the game, we do it for players, but you have to make a living. And when you have a situation like that, where potentially the person can walk on you at any time, and it has to be the right situation. So I think you could see it continue, a trend, but I don't think it's as easy as most people think. I mean, he moved his family, bought a house, and he's all in. So we're really, really excited to have him all in too.
This past Sunday, Texas soccer came out with a big 8-0 victory against Grambling State. The 8 goals were the most scored for the Horns since beating Oklahoma State in September of 1997. Junior Haley Berg and sophomore Julia Grosso both scored 2 goals against the Tigers. The Horns will take on the Jayhawks in Kansas this Thursday.
Texas pulled over 1 singles win and 2 doubles titles at the Gamecock Invite this past weekend. Player Seem Wolabeb went undefeated in singles and doubles with 4 top 40 wins, along with reaching bracket finals and singles and doubles in the Ivy Plus tournament. Another standout performance came from freshman player Cleve Harper, who finished with a ranked singles win over number 5 Fraser Rengrifo from ETSU.
Texas women's tennis went out to South Carolina to compete in the Debbie Southern Furman Fall Classic. Junior Fernanda Labrana came out with a singles win against Vanderbilt, and sophomore Tiana Spasovek pulled off a win against Furman. This was the fall opening tournament, and Texas will head out to Oracle ITA Masters this weekend in California.
This past week, the Lady Horns golf team headed out to Minnesota to compete in their opening season tournament. The Inika Intercollegiate Tournament ended with Texas junior Caitlin Papp earning her 7th career top 5 finish with 3rd place, and Texas finishing in the 3rd among 11 top 25 teams. Texas is now ranked in the WGCA coaches poll as number 2.
This week in Longhorn sports, volleyball takes on Iowa State at 7 p.m. and you can watch that on LHN. Women's soccer plays at Kansas on Thursday at 7 p.m. and it will be broadcasted on FS1. On Saturday, volleyball plays again against Texas Tech at 1 p.m. and on Sunday, women's soccer finishes off the week at Kansas State and you can watch that on ESPN+.
And that wraps up our show for tonight. From all of us here in the studio and everyone in Master Control, thank you for joining us on your Monday night. Be sure to tune in to College Crossfire on Wednesday nights for the best sports debate on the 40 acres. Until then, I'm Emme Basnett alongside Stephanie Witt. Have a great night.